Hello, Resurrection Kids staff and leaders. Kaitlyn here again with another training video on classroom management. This month we are going to be focusing on how to lead with love while managing your classroom well. This month we are going to drill in our new strategy, which is leading with love. So in doing that, we are going to use repetition to make it become as natural as possible when talking to these children who sometimes are struggling. Per our policy at Resurrection, we are to lead with love rather than to use a disciplinary approach when a child is having a difficult time in the class. So, when a child is struggling, the first thing I want you to do is ask yourself this question. Is the child being disruptive, hurtful, or causing a safety concern in your classroom? If the answer is yes, I'm going to give you a few strategies to work on. If the answer is no, though, there is nothing wrong with a child having some independent time doing a craft or an activity, even when the whole rest of the group is doing maybe a Bible story or a friendship circle. We want the children to feel like they have autonomy in the classroom to explore around and that they're not set to a super strict, rigid schedule. But if the child is being disruptive, hurtful, or causing a safety concern, let's use a few of these strategies. The first one we're going to talk about is positive reinforcement. Children love when you draw attention to something that they're doing well, and when a child is doing something they're not supposed to, sometimes using that positive reinforcement for another child encourages them to mimic their behavior. Let me give you an example. Wow, Amy, I love how you are working so hard to clean up your toys. That will encourage Amy to continue her behavior and other children to mimic her as well. Another example of classroom management is encouraging the whole class. You guys are doing such a great job at praise and worship today. Anything encouraging to them is going to reinforce that positive behavior. The next thing we're going to focus on is redirection. So I really want us to focus on, instead of using the words no, stop, don't do that, leading with what the expected behavior is. So saying things like, Hudson, we use gentle hands in our classroom. It kind of is tricky at first, and I know it, especially if there's a safety concern, it's easier to say no, but we want to use the desired behavior in our language with our children. Here's another example. If two children are fighting over a toy, we might say, in our classroom, we take turns. Let's set a timer. You can play with the toy for 20 seconds, and then we'll give it to our friend. The last thing we're going to propose that you use is giving the children choices in the classroom. So this kind of goes back to our transitions video that we had last month. You might say, when we're going to friendship circle today, you can walk or skip. If a child is having a struggle outside of the rest of the children in the class, in order to get them engaged, give them a few choices. Do you want 30 more seconds playing with your toys? Or do you want me to hold your hand as we walk to line up? This makes them feel like they have power in the situation, and as we all know, kids love to be in control. Okay, the last thing we want to talk about is a really important reminder. If you need help, if you feel like you have used these strategies and you're still not getting the child to comply, or the child is still being disruptive to your classroom, please call for help. The coordinators and the office staff are here to help you, and we want to do whatever we can to make your classroom be managed well. It is not a weakness, and it is not a poor reflection on you as a classroom teacher. Sometimes just a new adult coming into the classroom will help stir things up a little bit, and the child might start to comply. So remember, it is not a poor reflection on you at all. This month, as we drill in our new tool, adding the tool of leading with love into our handy dandy classroom management tool belt, I hope that you find encouragement and support in this awesome classroom management strategy. Thank you so much, and see you next time.